Hey there, young adventurers and story lovers. Get ready to meet Leo, a boy who thought lazy days were the best, until he discovered a whole world waiting for him outside his tablet screen. In Leo's Lazy Days, we'll follow Leo as he goes from being glued to his couch to becoming an explorer of life. You'll see how he learns to have fun with friends, help his family, and even enjoy school. This story is perfect for anyone who's ever felt stuck in a rut or scared to try new things. So, grab your imagination and let's join Leo on his amazing journey. Leo was a boy who loved to nap and play on his tablet. With his curly brown hair flopping over his eyes, he would curl up on the couch, lost in a world of games and videos. The sun could be shining outside, birds chirping, and kids laughing, but Leo didn't notice. His favorite thing was to stay inside, where it was cozy and quiet. He could spend hours just lying around, letting the day pass by, without a care in the world. To Leo, there was nothing better than a lazy day. One morning, Leo's mom came into the living room with a bright smile on her face. "Leo, it's a beautiful day outside. Why don't you go out and play?" she suggested, her eyes full of hope. But Leo just shrugged and buried his face deeper into his pillow. "Maybe later," he mumbled, not really planning to move. He could hear the distant sounds of kids playing in the park, but they didn't interest him. All he wanted was to stay inside and keep playing his games. His mom sighed softly and went back to the kitchen, leaving Leo to his lazy morning. Later that afternoon, Leo's dad called out to him from the hallway. "Leo, can you help me with some chores? We need to tidy up the living room," his dad asked, hoping to get Leo involved. But Leo just sighed and shook his head. "I'm busy right now," he replied, even though he wasn't really doing anything important. He stayed glued to his tablet, playing the same game over and over. His dad frowned but didn't push further. As the day went on, Leo barely moved from his spot, missing out on spending time with his family. The next day at school, Leo sat at his desk, staring out the window. Mrs. Jones was teaching a lesson about the solar system, but Leo's mind was elsewhere. Instead of paying attention, he doodled in his notebook, drawing pictures of spaceships and aliens. When Mrs. Jones asked a question, Leo didn't know the answer. His classmates were raising their hands eagerly, excited to share what they knew, but Leo just slouched in his chair, feeling bored and uninterested. Mrs. Jones noticed and felt a little sad, knowing Leo could do much better. After school, Leo's friends Sam and Mia ran up to him as he walked home. "Hey Leo, we're going to the park to play soccer. Want to join us?" Sam asked, bouncing the ball on his knee. Mia grinned and nodded, excited for the game, but Leo just shook his head. "No thanks, I'm going home," he said, already thinking about the video game he wanted to play. Sam and Mia looked disappointed, but they didn't push him. As they ran off to the park, Leo headed back to his apartment, missing out on the fun and laughter of playing with his friends. That evening, Leo's grandma came over for dinner. She was always full of stories and loved to share them with Leo. After they finished eating, Grandma sat down next to Leo on the couch. "When I was your age," she began, "we didn't have tablets or video games. We spent our days outside, climbing trees, playing tag, and exploring the world around us." Leo listened quietly, imagining his grandma as a little girl, running through fields and laughing with her friends. For a moment, he wondered what it would be like to have fun like that. But then he shrugged it off and picked up his tablet again. That night, as Leo lay in bed, he felt a strange emptiness. Even after playing his favorite games and watching his favorite shows, something didn't feel right. He stared at the ceiling, thinking about the stories his grandma had told him. The idea of running outside, feeling the wind on his face, and laughing with friends seemed nice, but Leo wasn't sure how to start. As he drifted off to sleep, a small part of him wondered if maybe, just maybe, he was missing out on something important. The next morning, Leo woke up feeling a little different. As he got ready for school, he decided that today he would try something new. In class, instead of daydreaming, he made an effort to pay attention to Mrs. Jones. When she asked a question, Leo hesitated for a moment, then slowly raised his hand. "Yes, Leo?" Mrs. Jones said, surprised but pleased. Leo answered the question, and even though he wasn't sure if he got it right, he felt a small spark of pride. Mrs. Jones smiled at him, and for the first time in a long while, Leo felt good about himself. When Leo got home that afternoon, he noticed his dad was washing the dishes in the kitchen. Usually, Leo would head straight to his room, but today he paused. "Dad, do you need some help?" Leo asked, feeling a bit nervous. His dad looked up, surprised but happy. "Sure, Leo, I'd love some help," he replied. Leo rolled up his sleeves and started washing the dishes alongside his dad. As they worked together, they chatted and laughed, and Leo realized it wasn't so bad after all. By the time they finished, Leo felt a sense of accomplishment he hadn't felt in a long time. Next weekend, Sam and Mia knocked on Leo's door, inviting him to the park again. This time Leo hesitated but then nodded. "Okay, I'll come," he said, surprising himself. At the park, Leo joined in the soccer game. At first he wasn't very good, but Sam and Mia encouraged him, and soon Leo was laughing and running around with the others. He felt the sun on his face and the wind in his hair, and for the first time in a long while, he felt truly happy. As the game went on, Leo realized that being outside with his friends was more fun than any video game. Back at home, Leo's mom and dad began to notice the changes in him. He was more helpful around the house, offering to set the table or help with the laundry without being asked. One evening, as they all sat down for dinner, Leo's mom smiled at him warmly. "We're really proud of you, Leo," she said. "You've been doing so well at home and in school." Leo felt a warm glow in his chest. It felt good to hear those words, and even better to know he had earned them. He realized that being active and helping out made him feel proud and happy. One evening, Leo's grandma visited again, and they sat together on the balcony watching the sunset. "I see a big change in you, Leo," Grandma said with a warm smile. "You remind me of myself when I was your age, always running around and finding adventure." Leo smiled back, feeling proud. "I've been having a lot of fun lately, Grandma," he said. "It feels good to be active and spend time with my friends." Grandma nodded. "That's wonderful, Leo. Life is full of amazing things if you just go out and experience them." As Leo continued to spend more time outside, he noticed that he was feeling stronger and more energetic. He no longer felt tired and sluggish all the time. Instead, he woke up each morning excited for the day ahead. His grades continued to improve, and he was proud of how well he was doing in school. Leo even started to make new friends who enjoyed playing sports and exploring the city parks with him. He realized that his life was so much richer and more fulfilling now that he was active and engaged. The more Leo embraced this new way of living, the happier he became. Leo's transformation didn't go unnoticed. His teachers, family, and friends were all amazed by how much he had changed. Leo became someone who others looked up to, and he enjoyed being a positive influence. He was no longer the boy who sat on the sidelines, watching life pass by. Instead, he was in the middle of the action, making the most of every moment. Leo realized that his happiness came from being involved, from connecting with others, and from embracing the world around him. He felt proud of how far he had come, and excited about all the adventures still ahead. As Leo continued on his new path, he discovered that life was full of surprises and opportunities. He joined a soccer team and made even more friends who shared his love for the game. He found joy in learning new things at school, especially when he could share what he learned with others. Leo also started helping out more at home, and his family appreciated his positive attitude. Every day felt like a new adventure, and Leo embraced it all with open arms. He was no longer just going through the motions. He was living life to the fullest and loving every moment of it.